Everyone, this is Gaming Dads here. Wanted to give you some updated advice on how to do well on a Piggy. This is going to be regarding the Cyber Piggy. There was an update on the 26th that changed some key characters, and you have to go about your 20k max in a different way now. At least these are my recommendations and what I've been seeing and what I've been doing. So let me show you where we're at. So I flipped out to my main screen. First thing we're going to look at is Flamethrower, Knight, Lootboxer, and then Overdrive. Now, what I've observed from my own battles is Lootboxer takes more to max. So you're probably going to need 6 or 7 minimum, where in the past maybe it was 4 or 5. And the only way I'm finding to be able to do that is to boost. So we're going to go ahead and boost right now, and then we will begin the battle. Alright, so this map is pretty abbreviated, but we're going to go ahead and try to max out on this. I think a key gameplay strategy change, if you're not doing this already, is to cluster your champions together. That way when you overdrive them, you get 2 for 1. And one thing that I've observed is I think that you need to try to avoid making copies of the same one over and over again. And that will help with, I guess, the potency of your champs to make sure that they are doing all the damage you can. So I try to make sure I make a copy of at least 1 champion per round, if that makes sense. I think that's the best way I can explain it, is that if you do the same copy the entire round, you seem less likely to get your 20k max. So that's one takeaway I think that you should, well, really 2, that you should probably put into practice. Cluster your champs. And if they're not clustered, try to make sure you get a copy of every one, because it just seems like that the copies are not as strong as the original. Don't have any way to prove that, but I have seen plenty of overdrived loot boxers on the screen, and then they, for some reason, I don't get a 20k max. So still scratching my head on that one, but I can tell you that what I've just done does seem to work. Alright, so next up, if Lootboxer has got you down and you're just not feeling like that's the champion for you, Nexus is a pretty good one to try. So let's go ahead and switch over to him. And I'm going to pause and be right back. Alright, so we've got the same loadout, Flamethrower, Knight, but Nexus now, and then Overdrive. Same thing here, you're going to need more Nexuses to get your 20k max. I think in the past you could get by with 4. Now you're probably going to want like 6. So let's go ahead and demonstrate here. You may notice I'm shooting away from the multiplier. I'm trying to make sure I don't win too quickly, give myself a fighting chance here. Try to keep them clustered. Here we go. This should be pretty straightforward. And I honestly go with Lootboxer first because he's the only one that gets you stars and bricks. But Nexus, he's really strong with that cyber gang capability. So, you know, if you don't care about the loot, it's a pretty decent thing. That one went really well. But I've come across more challenging maps where it's tough to get your 20k max. So, for me, second place after Lootboxer would be Nexus, solely for the fact that he doesn't have loot. But he's still a solid strategy to get your 20k max for your Piggy races, even with him having been slightly nerfed recently. And of course I missed my times 4, that's what I get. Last one would be Sirion. We'll go ahead and demonstrate with him, and then that will be the length of this video. So just a moment here, I'll flip this over. Alright, just like we did with Lootboxer and Nexus, I've got the fast charge boost in effect. Same loadout, except I've swapped out my champ, so Flamethrower, Knight, Sirion, and Overdrive. And the thing that we want to do here is just basically spam Sirion. I'm going to go straight up the middle here. With Overdrive, it should give you a pretty decent way to get your 20k max. When you overdrive Sirion, he tends to bump himself around, so you're going to more likely get his circle of influence up around the base to get you your buff for your mobs to get that enhanced damage. So I think that's the appeal of this strategy. And since he just got recently updated with a faster ranged attack, you fill up your ultimate meter that much faster. I have to go up the sides here. Let's see if that works. It should, but if it doesn't, then that's on me. That would be a game playing fault. Looks like I got the pace here. Yep. So there you go. If you're a Sirion fan, you're in luck. He seems to be a pretty viable option for getting in 20k max on a board. And at least I got the 4 on that one. So that's it. That is essentially the updated recommendations for Piggy Race based on my experience. I'm sure there's other ways to do it. Feel free to drop a comment if you've seen other ways that are better or disagree. Love to hear your comments. But in the meantime, though, this has been a victory for Gaming Dads. Or another victory for Gaming Dads. Gaming Dads out.